Anyone else just laugh at this scene? Like, just straight up start laughing so hard. Like, I pulled my chair back and just started laughing because just, I know I say it every week, but the Cautious Hero's reaction faces are just so freaking good. Like, I can't get enough of just the goddess's face every time in every single episode. Like, every time she interacts with the Yusha, interacts with, you know, Seiya, her facial reactions are just 10 out of 10. Honestly, 11 out of 10. And I'm just like, with her eyes like that, she's like, oh, I need to do this. I need to watch out for my eyes. I need to stay away from doing that for a while. I just started laughing because literally Seiya has gotten to the point to where she can't even see what his level currently is, which is kind of scary, honestly. His power has far surpassed the gods of their power, which makes me wonder, what is Seiya's limits? How far can he really go? And will he eventually surpass every single god within the story? And if he does this mean that he might be reincarnated as a god? Because we do know that is possible, it can happen because of the one god that uses the sword, the Divine Blade or whatever. He could potentially become someone like that. He could become someone that can be reincarnated as a god. So it's really cool to me, honestly, with just how more and more we see of Seiya's character, the more he just continues to surpass every god around him. And now, like I said, our main goddess, she can't even look at his status anymore because of his fake out. So, I'm not really going to get into the hypotheticals of how high his levels are. I want to assume, though, it is ridiculous, like way beyond what anybody can really expect. But the question is it enough? I think that's what we really should get to talking about, because at this point in time, it doesn't really seem like Seiya really has had a challenge, and I don't really expect him to start having a challenge because of just how overly cautious he is. The only one that could really challenge Seiya at this point, if you want to hear my personal opinion, is if the Demon King is just as overly cautious as Seiya, which could really make a fight between him and the Demon King extremely interesting, and I'm assuming something like that probably will happen eventually. But for the time being, though, Seiya hiding his stats like that and just seeing the goddess's reaction was hilarious, and I like how the ones literally attacked her, and he's like, next time you do it, your eyes will come off and so will your head, and I'm just like, man, that's violent. That's messed up, Seiya. Like, are you seriously doing that to her? So, yeah, there's some funny moments, like always. So, to get into the main point, though, of the episode of Cautious Hero, basically, we get to see the two new additions to Seiya's party interact with him, kind of how they're going to be going forward, their usefulness, etc. And there is definitely something that this episode tries to set up, which is kind of interesting, because it'll show us what type of character Seiya is. I think that's, like, one of the major points that this episode is setting up, is that with the sister character, the little girl, not really having any potential for fire magic, not really being able to do much, etc., it pretty much makes it to where she is useless. And Seiya tries to say that you're my bag carrier and all that, don't worry about it. And, you know, from the outsider's perspective, the way he says it, etc., it's very rude. Basically saying all you amount for is being an item carrier, which is basically saying you're a pack mule. You're just a mule. And it's not the best job, obviously, but it's a hell of a lot better than basically being said that you have no purpose and you're destined to die to become a weapon. Now, obviously, from the sister's point of view, normally within a story, they would feel very honored, like, this is my purpose. You know, my entire life, I had nothing. I didn't have a purpose. I was nothing. I can't be strong, etc. So if I can lay down my life to become a great weapon, I guess I will do so. So that's the typical route a story would take. But obviously, like I said, this is going to show what type of mentality Seiya is going to have. Like, does he care about having a strong weapon, or does he care about protecting an innocent life? Because if he has this strong weapon, it might be so strong that he'll never need to change it, but will he give up a life for it? There's so many questions. And like I said, it'll kind of show his morals, how he is morally as a person, and if he is willing to give up a life just for a weapon to be very strong. Obviously, I don't think he is, but the question is, how will he go about it, though, and how will he save the girl? Will she actually fundamentally have a purpose, or will she be fine with just having a purpose as a pack mule? Also, the brother is incredibly strong and can potentially become a dragon god according to what was said within this episode. So if that truly is the case, then I am very curious to see kind of how strong he can get, and will one day he eventually even match or get close to what Seiya is capable of. But okay, stopping there for a second though, let's talk about the God Realm. What happened within the God Realm and how everybody got training. So obviously Seiya, he got training as always. He had to find someone to train him, one of the gods, and he felt this time like a goddess of war. He found a goddess of war that could teach him this eternal blade or whatever. Basically move extremely fast to be able to use his weapon in a certain way to be able to kind of soften his joints and move it extremely fast. You can kind of see he uses it within this episode to break the dragon's seal. Now, it's stated by the goddess of war that he pretty much mastered it within a day, and he continued, which kind of goes along with what was happening in the previous episodes with how he made the Divine Blade guy. He basically made him give up ever wanting to use the sword because Seiya was just so good at learning. However, the reaction from the Goddess of War was very different. At first, it seemed to be similar, but then it became something very different as time went on. She pretty much fell in love with him and became an ordinary, girl. Like a girl that just loved Seiya. And it's hilarious, honestly, because it's a reaction I just did not expect, especially a creepy girl like her, because, like I said, when you first were introduced to her, she's creepy. She's really, really creepy. She's unnerving, and everybody's just, disgusting. And as, like I said, the episode progresses, you see her become more and more cutesy, cuddly, dressing very nice. She even goes out of her way to make Seiya a cake for 5 hours, puts all of her heart and soul and love into it, and Seiya's, gross, disgusting, and throws it away. And she just gets very angry, and she starts laughing, she gets angry, and she starts going on a rampage, which does make me wonder, though, if that is how he normally treats her, and that's why she kind of likes him. See, here's the thing, she is a very strange girl, and the only thing we've really seen before we saw Seiya's interaction with her is that she would laugh. She was remembering something and she would laugh. So it makes me do wonder if that entire interaction we had at the end was her normal interactions with Seiya, him being rude to her, and then she's like, oh, I like him or whatever because he's so unobtainable for her, and that's why she keeps going after him. Maybe that is the reason why she acts like she does. So it's kind of cool, honestly, but Seiya really does have an effect on any goddess he really meets, and he changes them permanently because just he's so brutal with his training. Which, by the way, speaking of gods and goddesses, etc., I forgot to mention it a few episodes back because, honestly, it just slipped my mind, but I can't really ignore it within this episode because it's pretty much just displayed right in your face, and it needs to be discussed. And that is, our main female character, the goddess's friend, she acts very weird around Seiya. Even with her first interaction with Seiya, she acts different. Like, she knows who he is, who he looks like, etc., she acts very familiar with him. And Seiya even points out within this episode that's like, why do you only treat me in a familiar tone? Why do you treat me like you know me, etc.? And she started to change her talking towards him after that moment, but she acts very familiar with him, which is the question that I think many are going to have. Why? Does she know him? See, if we're looking at Seiya's background, okay, Seiya came from, a regular world, and transported, and he's an isekai character. There's no reason this goddess should really know who he is unless she A, is someone that has died in Seiya's world and knew him and was reincarnated, or B, she's someone that's been using her goddess powers to watch after and look after certain individuals, and maybe Seiya crossed her mind. Like, she got to see it and just watch him. Maybe she's a secret admirer. Whatever the case may be, she definitely knows who he is, which I'm really wondering about because it's suspicious. It really is suspicious, and I do wonder where the story will go with that, because she has been very helpful and even going the extra mile to help out Seiya anytime he really needs help. So, okay, talking about the final sequence, though, of the episode, Seiya, basically, he confronts the Dragon Tribe, and he has to make a difficult decision. Will he give up, his companion? Like I said, I don't think he will, but the question is, though, how will he go about it? Will he destroy the entire village? Are they actually evil? There's a lot of questions I have, and also, will the little girl be able to transform into a dragonkin very much like, our other character? That's another question. But I think I want to leave it at that, because it's a good episode, simplistic, but good episode. I enjoyed it from start to finish. Great moments, a lot of comedy, as always, and easily one of my favorites of this anime season. And so, I want to wrap it up there, so I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you live, because, I just want you all to have the best out there. I really do wish you guys to have many, many great days, nights, and a great rest of the year. So anyways, if you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click the bell icon down below, because for some reason, even if you click the subscribe button, you don't always get notified. So if you do want to get notified for whenever, you know, I do upload a video, please click that bell icon. And even if you don't do it for me, okay, even if you don't, at least do it for the YouTubers you do watch, you do care about, because it does help us out on YouTube quite a bit, because YouTube's algorithm just doesn't always work. So if you do want to help out the YouTubers you do watch, you do care about, at least hit it for them. So okay, I'll leave you guys with that. I love you. Be safe. Chibi out.